Alrighty, boys. Another episode here in your 20s podcast. Shout out AJ. Shout out Music to My Ears blog. And shout out Studio 424 because that's where we're shooting it right here. The best studio in the market, in the city. Don't go anywhere else. The other places suck. This is where you're going to make your dreams into reality. It's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. And I'm here with one of the legends right here. Upcoming artist, Chicago legend, iconic. He's 28 years old, from Chicago, Mani. What's up, bro?
So what's the word? How y'all doing? Peace of love, infinite love. You know the vibes. West Side in the building, 290 in the building. You dig, man. I'm here. I'm excited to, you dig, build, you know.
Chop it up. Yeah. All I got to say, I'm from Evanston. I don't got all that. But no,
for sure.
Anyways, bro, AJ told me a lot about you. Like, you're upcoming, doing music. You've been doing it for a while, right? Like,
yeah.
How long you think you've been doing it for?
Man, I've been writing rap since I was 11. You feel me? I'm 28, so like, what's that, 17, 16 years, you know? And then shit, just really in general, like, you know, I like as a professional artist about a decade, you know, like since 17, 18 until now, you know, so it's just been a lot of, you know, trials and tribulation, triumphs, you know, pitfalls, you know, just the constant roller coaster ride of artistry and being a musician in the industry. Chicago don't really have a real industry. We're very underground scene here, so everything is DIY, and then the spaces that are kind of activated industrially are more gatekeepish, you know, but that's cool. I feel like, you know, this version of me is a lot more appreciative of the people that do appreciate me, you know. Mm-hmm. So
you did say 11 years old. Like, were you already like 8, 7, like already knowing you wanted to do music, or it took you a while to actually say, this is meant for me?
Man, when I started rapping, because my homie Keyshawn was a rapper, and we was shorties. I used to like write poetry when I was a kid. I was good at writing. I won like an award from DARE. Y'all remember DARE?
Okay.
He did the little drug prevention group. I think it's a nonprofit. Yeah, it's a nonprofit, but they got in trouble. That's neither here nor there. You dig? But they used to come to schools and, you know, activate the space. So I won an award writing an essay.
Oh, shoot.
And, you know, that was like, writing was something in my back pocket, but I like to draw. So I wanted to be a cartoonist and be at Marvel. That was my dream, work for Marvel, because my favorite superhero was Spider-Man. I wanted to be a cartoonist, a comic book artist. Got into rapper because my homie Keyshawn, he drew too. So we used to draw together.
Okay.
But he used to just be writing raps when I go to his crib and draw with him. So, you know, one day I was like, man, I'm going to just start writing raps. And that's how that happened, you know.
So, like,
shorties.
So, like, in high school, too, I'm a minority, too. My mom always pushed me, you got to finish high school. You got to go to college. How were your parents? They were supportive, or they were just like, yo, get a career first, then do music?
Say less.
You know?
One thing I just want to address, because I got to give power to you. We the majority, bro. We not the minority. Minority is a false representation of melanated people on the earth. So don't let no European put that in your brain. You dig? And that's for anybody out there with color and a pigment watching. We the majority on earth. We make up the earth. You dig? Indigenous people of the earth, all over the earth. People of color is the most abundant. You dig? And there's no shade to any melanin recessive people, but you feel me? Like, just to be real, like, we the majority. So, but you said, how was it growing up, like, in the household?
Yeah, so, like, what were your parents, very supportive, or were they just like, yo, Mani, you got to get a job first, a college degree, then you do some music?
My parents is supportive. Like, so my dad is Jamaican.
Okay.
He's straight from Jamaica. He's not American at all. My mom is from Chicago. She from the West Side.
Okay.
So on mama, you dig? They both supported my creative endeavors. I never had no problem with them supporting me. It was never like go to college. When I told them what I wanted to do, they was just behind me. My dad do be like, oh, you should probably go back to school sometimes. But I tell him, like, man, there's no plan Bs. Like, if I do this is what I'm doing, you know, and it got me this far. So why give up now or try to turn back around because things getting harder, challenging? Like, you know, a lot of the most influential people and affluent people on the planet, most of them don't have a college degree. So the idea that you need a degree or you know, and that your parents gonna press you, like, some people deal with that, but I didn't. So I'm grateful to have supportive parents. Now I had people in my family who, you know, maybe grandparents or other elders in the family that felt like me chasing music was a pipe dream, but I never paid none of that any attention because I knew what I was doing it for. So my uncle on my dad's side is actually a reggae singer. His name is Junior Reed. And if you heard a song by the game called One Blood, it samples my uncle's song, which was a very popular song in the 90s. You dig, on a reggae scene, the dance hall scene.
Okay.
It's called One Blood. Game sampled it back in like '05. And it, you know, that was like a big hit at that time. And that dude waving the flag in the video, dark skin with the turban on, that's my uncle. That's my Uncle Junior Reed.
So in high school, how did you know like you were actually lyrically talented? Like you actually knew how to rap?
Man, I used to just write raps without beats.
Like did you
in my
have,
notebook.
did you have buddies tell you, yo man, you got something, or your buddies told you, you're kind of ass, bro, you gotta relax?
Everybody thought I was dope. I ain't never had nobody tell me I was whack. Like, and if they did tell me something opposite of it being dope, they would just give me critique and tell me what to do better. But I never had nobody like, oh, you should stop rapping. You just made me realize I never experienced that. Like I have other friends who had experienced that, but I didn't. Like,
okay.
As soon as I came in and I rap for the guys, you know, and I used to be on the block. So I used to be on the block with the homies. We rapping, you feel me? That's how I built my name at first. I just go on the block, remember a verse, spit it to the guys on the block. That's how I started. Then I used to post videos on Facebook and shit. And then, you know, it just grew. I just kept going, you dig? I was trying to get in the studio, but I was in the streets and stuff. So my parents weren't rocking with that. So I ended up having to move to New Jersey with my daddy side of the family for like a couple years because I was wilding. This is around the time he was just talking about like 2013, 2012, that era, because it was real bad in Chicago at the time.
Right.
I mean, Chicago's still bad, but at that time, drill music was fairly new, and everybody was drilling. Everybody was trying to get on that wave. So being 16 at that time, and Chief Keef, which is the biggest rapper at the time, is 16, you know, it's pretty
Did you try to get
crazy.
into the drill music, or did you just
That's what
stay
I
in
was
your own
doing
lane?
at first.
Okay.
I was drilling at first. My daddy heard my music and he ain't like it. And so he felt like I should be more conscious and more positive. Because my dad a Rasta,
Okay.
like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that like background, you know? And from there, like hearing him say that, because he got on me about my music and the content, you know, that's what started my path as a lyricist. But prior to that, I was listening to Kendrick and a lot of Wu-Tang and Common and Kanye. Lupe Fiasco and Lil Wayne was my favorite artist, you know, up until that point. So, you know, but I also heard Chief Keef and all these different guys from the city coming out. So I had that different polarity in my artistry at the time. So once I having all that musical, you know, background, like just sonically different, listening to different things, of course, reggae, you know, the oldies that people play, all that's in my, you know, DNA as an artist.
Right.
So over time, I just came out, everything else just started to come naturally. You did.
Because I know you moved to New Jersey, right? So what was the culture shock when you went over there, like the music genre, the music scene over there in New Jersey in the early 2010s?
Man, everybody was on the Chicago wave.
Really?
Yeah, everybody was on it. Like they was doing the little Jersey dances and stuff, but they was all rocking with Chicago hard. Like they was asking me questions about O Block and Chief Keef and all them back then. You feel me? So, you know, it was just, but the thing I ain't like was everybody was trying to compare their hood to our city. Like, man, Chicago the murder capital, but man, over here in Camden, over here in Trenton, over here in Newark, it get like this. And I just got in Philly it's like this. And I understood, but it's like, bro, the hood is the hood. Like, I'm not trying to compare people being murdered to another group of people being murdered. Like, that's lame. You feel me? But that's the type of stuff that'll happen, because I was in the suburbs because that's where my grandma lived at. So, and it's kind of like Maywood or Harvey or something. It's like a hood suburb.
Did you find it easier making music over there in New Jersey compared to Chicago? Were they more like lenient with you, or like trying to collab with you easier?
In New Jersey, at the time, I was 16.
I only asked
17.
you too because Chicago, I think, feels like gatekeeps a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like at Jersey, it was a lot. It was easier because Jersey doesn't really have anything. So everybody just wanted to rap. They got a lot of battle rappers and stuff like that, and everybody go to Philly. I met Gilly the Kid before going to a studio, because I had a big homie out there. His name Real. Shout out Real. He go by Grand Pooba, Rapperholic Grand Pooba. He an artist from Jersey, but we used to go to the studio in Philly called the Bat Cave, and Gilly the Kid was always there. And I ended up meeting him. He was always there recording and shit. This is before the podcast, before Wallow got out and all that. But they are a lot more in places like that because there's not no resources. There's a lot more people, you know, that's supportive, but it's still the same mindset, like clout based, but it's not like when you from somewhere different and you in a space, you're a novelty to people, so they're gonna embrace you differently than somebody they've been seeing their whole life, you know, no matter how dope they are or how popular or whatever. Like, it's just people feel an entitlement to you, you know, as a person that's from where they from. But when you go somewhere else, it's a different love, you know, like. So definitely it was a different love. They appreciated me. They liked my Chicago lingo, and because I was lyrical, that's one thing I did notice. It was a lot more respect for hip hop as an art form, opposed to, you know, amongst young kids, opposed to like in Chicago. Like, everybody wasn't into hip hop. Like, it was people, but it wasn't like in the black community, everybody was bumping whatever the hood was bumping.
Of course, yeah.
In Jersey, they listen to like a lot of lyricists. So, and they listen to the trap and all that. So it's like that polarity is there, but I would say it's a little bit more balanced because this is the East Coast. So this is where New York is right there. This is where hip hop was born. Well, really hip hop's from Jamaica, but hip hop came to the States through New York.
Okay.
So you dig. From there, it's like, all right, you know, everything just busting. Like, for an artist like me, it was nothing to get popular out there.
Well, let me ask you this. So when was your first show, in Chicago or in Jersey, when you actually made your first show?
First shows was in Jersey, Philly, and New York.
Okay.
Them the places I was at. I first recorded in Jersey. First, like, really recording a project, Jersey.
Okay.
New York and Philly, we used to go to do shows all the time. You dig what I'm saying? And this was a 3-year span from 16 to like 19 years old. This is what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How do you mentally prepare? How old are you when you made your first show? Like 16, 17, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I was young. So my first performance was at a talent show in Jersey. Funny. It was at a talent show out there. And I did a song I got called Pharaoh. I shot a video for it like in Chicago when I came back. And it's funny. That's a whole nother story. But that song I had put out, it's funny because Elevator posted it. I sent it to them and they posted it. I remember that I was excited. I'm like, damn, Elevator just posted me. I was super geek. You feel me? Because, you know, the blog era was busting back then. So if you get on the blog, that was everything. So they posted me. I had a lot of steam around it, you know, and it was a positive song. My dad liked it. And I ended up performing that song for the kids out in Jersey, and I got a good response from them. And, you know, from there, I just was out getting active, you know, in Jersey and Philly and New York, you know.
So let me ask you this too again. How do you mentally prepare then at that age, saying like, I'm going to get up on stage and I'm going to perform my best?
Man, I was rehearsing like crazy in my grandma's garage, sweating and shit like every day till the performance, because this is my first one. So you dig? Like, I was rehearsing like nonstop all the time, like making sure I know the words, and it was so scary. When I look back I watched the performances on like a YouTube page I used to use that I don't use no more. But when I watched it, I'm like, damn. When I look back on it, I was naturally good at this. Like, you know, it wasn't hard for me to become an artist, you know.
So it was easy. It looks like you were meant for this. So when you came back to Chicago, when did you start seeing that actual success? Like money coming in or actually some traction, some views, you know?
Man, honestly, when I first got out here, my first show was with Mello, with MF and Mello, and I was with him, Boy Illinois, and this dude named Encyclopedia Brown.
Okay.
And we all opened up for GLC. And that was my first show in Chicago at Subterranean. I remember like it was yesterday. This is where I met Sabat. This is where I met Mello at, you know. And I ain't even know who they was. They ain't know who I was. And these my guys right now. You know, we all from out west. So that was my first time meeting them. I met GLC, met Laro from Lawless. I met a lot of people, you know. And at the time I was in this program through Donda's house with Ryan Fest and my mentor Twine Gabs. You know, rest in paradise to him because he passed away.
Okay.
You dig? And I think he passed away just last year.
Okay.
He had cancer. That was my mentor. I love that brother. He was part of the Nation of Islam, but him and Ryan Fest was like mentoring us at the time. So you feel me? I remember Corey Gicky because we met him through Donda's house, and he was doing like some talks with us and stuff. And I told him I knew GLC, and he called him on the phone. And I told him I was doing a show with GLC, and he called him on the phone. He was like, "Man, you got a show with my little man, woo woo." And me and Corey still like this to this day. The guy that lead us. Shout out to Corey. But yeah, Joe, like all them, you know, all that just was. When I look back on it at the time, when I was younger, you know, I didn't think I was doing anything. Like I was mad that I got slighted in certain instances. But when I really look back on it, like to have my first show be opening for a Chicago legend is crazy. Like, you know, talking about that type of shit is what's making me be grateful for my path, because everybody don't walk into something, especially out the gate. Like I just got back to Chicago, and this is what I was doing, you know. So
I got a lot of questions actually for you. So my first one is going to be, dude, you've been doing this for 10 years. There's a lot of talent in Chicago. You think it's the marketing team behind the artist that's not making them blow up, or is this just it? Is it luck because going viral on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram? Like, what is the reason why? Because I see certain people blowing up, and I'm like, you're talented, but there's someone else that's 2x, 3 times as better than you. Why aren't they as big as you or bigger? You know?
I feel like it is marketing. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I was just talking about this with Andrew Barber at the Closed Sessions event just a couple days ago. But me and him was talking about it. He was like, "Man, what do you think Chicago scene needs?" And, you know, and I was telling him, but like, I told him, like, being young, not knowing certain things, that's why I got my mentor, my mentee here with me, because he should be around this. You feel me? Like, as much as I can put him in a situation so he can win, that's as much as I'm going to win, because there's nobody around to tell me none of this. And that's what I was telling Andrew Barber. Like, I wish it was more resources outside of, like, my mentor Phenom, shout out Phenom, and Ryan Fest and Twine Gabs and K-Love and Brother Mike. Like, that's not enough, you know? Like, there's a lot of young artists in cities like Chicago who don't know how to navigate it, and social media is a good avenue to promote yourself. But it's really, if you don't have a marketing plan or strategy, bro, it's not gonna work. Like, you gotta, like, people blow up because that's a strategy. Like, I watched, you know, the No Labels Less Necessary page. They have a course, and me and my homie shared the course, and I ain't finished it yet, but I watched some of the dude that did the case study on Money Long, how he blew up. This is her manager. And he's saying, like, man, we just did a lot of micro content for her songs, and we would post it, and we weren't getting a lot of views at first, but we just kept posting, you know what I'm saying, and put money behind stuff, you know, but she got a whole machine working with her, you know what I'm saying?
So consistency pretty
consistent, much. Yeah. It's really just being consistent with a niche and a market and a target audience. Like, it's literally that, you know? Like, that's what social media, like, people get on social media, look at aesthetics and vibes and what they think is dope. And that's what they go on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally whole, like, how Tumblr used to be back in them times, like, you know, just aesthetics and, you know, different vibes, you know, back in them eras, right? Now you got Pinterest and Instagram and all these different places, and TikTok and all these different places where people putting out content, but it's always curated to target an audience. Like, okay, for example, something as simple as no labels necessary. Their target audience is us, it's artists, it's creatives, people in the industry. So it's easy to get that content out because everybody's looking for that. So, you know, it's not gonna say it's easy, because you could start that, but it's still gonna take you time to build it up to get it to a point where everybody got their eyes on it, you know. But when you breaking an artist like Money Long and you got a couple platinum plaques, of course it looked different, so people gonna be like, okay, he must know what he talking about. But really, he was just consistent. Really, he just took the time, because if you watch the case study video, like, they might have had a budget, but at the same time, if you got a team with you, you got a couple good people that you trust, and y'all got a marketing strategy and plan, it could work. It's just all about, and the content got to be good, of course. But I only want to emphasize that too much, because we know some of this music be trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we ain't gonna just say the music got to be dope, because that ain't enough. it gotta be gift wrapped to a point where it could reach an audience in a way. Like that's really what it's about now. It's about how it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You feel me? That's how it is nowadays. Like, well, that's how it's always been. Honestly, that's just that's like grassroots marketing at its finest. It's how you saying something, how you conveying a message, how you getting somebody. You know, because music videos was new at that point. Music videos wasn't a thing. That was something new that came through in the 80s and all that, like 80s, late 70s, like all that stuff was new. So you got this stuff coming out, and this is how they market and stuff. That's why in videos, they be having beats and, you know, they might tag a Coke bottle in there. Like, they advertise everything with music. That's why they endorse artists. They use musicians to advertise different products to the consumer. Like, music is used as it's like a tool for marketing. So the best way to get music to the audience is marketing. And if you don't know nothing about that, like Chief Keef didn't know he was creating a vibe, and because he was just doing something everybody else was doing in the city at the time. Like, he wanted to be big, but he didn't know how it was gonna happen. He didn't know if it was a marketing strategy. He was just posting. Sometimes it is luck. Sometimes it is just the right time. But also sometimes it's intentional, and it's like, you know, it's gonna do what it's gonna do because you're putting that into it.
Chief Keef actually was, I think the music videos actually blew him up, man.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff, the crazy stuff.
Controversy.
Yeah, and also too, like with marketing right now, like everyone's trying to do a TikTok song. Everyone's trying to make that 10-second, I don't know, lyric, beat, whatever, so it can blow up. But I was going to ask you this with the marketing team. So when you're making a team, do you think it's a good idea to have more than 5 to 10 people, or is it better to have it like less than 5 people? You know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to have, I want to have 20 employees, 30 employees, right?
It's always better to start small. My mentors had told me this. I remember he told me, I had a bunch of people around me. This is just last year. One of my mentors, music industry veteran, worked for Universal and all that. Shout out to him. His name is King Louie. This is what he told me. He was like, man, you got too many hands in the pot, and that's not a good look. It's just not gonna be a good situation in the long run, for one. But two, it's too many people. They gonna pull in things different ways because of how they feel about it. So to me, in my opinion, based off the industry standard, you know, somebody who's been around the industry and worked with all type of artists for 20 plus years, telling me this, and then just being boots to the ground myself, it is better to have just a couple people then. Because I had a lot of people around, and it, you know, they not
They're there for the wrong reasons.
They none of those people are here right now. That was just last year. So, but like, you know, but my homie Tomas, who showed my videos, who would shoot my videos, he shot Projecting and Ego Death, and this joint I got with King Louie, me and him locked in around that time. Like, you don't never know, you know, like, and me and him just been building, and other things been emerging, and it's bubbling and brewing on its own. But that wouldn't have happened if I was thinking like I gotta just stay confined with these people. So any artists out there, my advice to you is to start small. You don't gotta do you don't need a big group of people. You don't need a large entourage, you know?
So what's like the budget though? Like when you're entering like the studio, how do you know who to go to? Like what producers, how to get the right pricing? You know, people try to screw you over because you're the little guy, but how do you actually like finesse your way into getting like the right prices, the right studio?
I feel like it's all relationships with that. Like, and that's another thing nobody tells you.
Yeah.
Everything is relationship based. And a lot of the stuff, like you see a lot of homies doing, just different artists doing, you never really know how they did it. Even from the biggest artists to the smallest, like, this all relationships, bro. You know, like, if you got a relationship, you build a relationship with the producer or with the engineer, you know, you can negotiate a price, or you can even record or get beats for free. But you gotta be able to have a relationship with that person. You gotta build a relationship. And of course, you don't want to come off opportunistic. Be natural. And my best advice is to target someone who is in your field of artistry. Like, don't just go with a producer because they got clout, or because, like, find somebody you really like what they do and you want to work with them. You know, don't just work with somebody because they can put you in a room with somebody else. Like, well, because they got a lot of certain number on Instagram, or that don't work. You know, and that's, as a young Mani Jurdan, I thought, then maybe I didn't even move like that then, but you know, when you younger, you don't know. You just like, man, well, he got clout, so maybe But nah, it don't be none of that because, you know, then nobody know Young Chop or Chief Keef.
Yeah. It's
So-
all about the chemistry too as well.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this actually. So when you're entering one of these like producers, high profile people, and you pay them, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. Has there been a moment when someone just put some trash beat or trash lyrics and you have to tell them, hey, this is not it? How do you tell them, and what do you do with that, you know?
In my opinion, like, honesty is the best policy, like, you dig? So I'm always honest with people. And what I found is, like, I don't trash it. I just be like, that's not the vibe I'm going for.
Okay.
You know, let's do something different. Like, I had situations even recently, like, where I had a song and I had the idea, we made it and it didn't hit. So we scrapped it and did something different.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? I'm paying for the session. We, you know,
Yeah.
it was that, but it wasn't like I ain't just get mad or convey. Like, it's how you do things. Like, you know, I was just like, yo, bro, I feel like it's just not hitting. And he agreed. So we both scrapped it in and went back to the drawing board. So you got to work with people who also willing to take criticism. And you got to be willing to take criticism.
Take criticism too as well.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just really what it's about. Like,
That's why I tell my boys, I'm like, if I ask question, call me out, slap me, something, dude. Like, you got to be honest, right? Authentic, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I asked you that question just because I know you're having a feature, or I think he's hopping on yours,
Yeah.
King Louie, right?
yeah.
The iconic legend of King Louie. So how did that come about, and how did you meet him to make that happen?
Man, honestly, I just DM'd him on Instagram, and that's how that happened, literally.
Nice.
And he just so happened to be doing features. You know, we talked on the phone that day. I told him the vision. You dig? We kept building. I told him I was gonna have a budget for the woo. You know, end up getting the bread to him. You know, and that's how it is. That's how it even was. It was, you know, just straight to the business. He was cool, real cool dude, real no nonsense. You did. He a Capricorn like me. Shout out Louie. He a Capricorn like me. You know what I'm saying? His birthday in December, my B-day in January. But, you know, bro, you know, we be on our business. So I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, told him the vision, what I had for it, and you dig? That's just how that went. Like, it was dope, bro. It was crazy at first. So I'm like, I'm on the phone with Louie. Like, I was telling my lady at the time, I'm like, man, Joe, like, I just got off the phone with King Louie. Like,
Louie,
it's
man.
crazy. I used to watch him, like, as a shorty, like, so it just, you know, but it was like, also like, nah, of course you on the phone because you are the next out of your city. You know what I'm saying? You what he was at the time. So I'm inspiring people younger than me, you know what I'm saying, and older and my age. So it's the same energy. So it makes sense. Energy is what ruled us, like creator, the ancestors. Like, I believe in all. I know it's true. So that's all that was. Like,
And it's going to come out soon too, right? That song?
May 19th.
May 19th?
Yep.
So how's the process like? Like, how long did it take to make that song? And how long did you guys shoot a video for it or no?
Yeah, we shot a video for it
shit.
last October.
Oh, so this was a minute. So it takes a while. The process is a while then, huh?
Yeah, I made the song. Let me see. When did I make this? I think I made it like maybe at the top of last year.
Okay.
And it was just me on it at first. I didn't put him on it. I didn't even think to put him on it. But the song was inspired by him and his style.
Okay.
Because the beat reminded me of this joint he got called Just Relax. But I had put some patois on it, which is like the way in which people communicate in the Caribbean. So
Okay.
it's like I want to say it's a language. It's more so like a slang. It's like English slang, but in Caribbean.
Okay.
In the Caribbean. So you might hear like Jamaicans use it, Trinidadians, different other islands close to Jamaica and Trinidad, like St. Lucia and all that.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
yeah, Dominica, like they all kind of speak, not Dominican Republic, but Dominica or Dominica.
Okay.
They all speak patois.
Patois.
You dig? So yeah, man, I put some of that on it. I was like, okay. I was building on it, and then I was like, man, it'd be dope. One day I was just at work in my classroom with my kids, like, it'd be dope if I just get King Louie on this. And I was like, I should try to get him on. So it's funny, the same day, this is how the manifestation is real, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Same day, I go on Instagram, and I see, he said, DM for features, must have budget. I DM him, he give reply instantly. I'm like, dang, he just replied, gave me his number.
Yeah.
That's how that
Set it up then and there.
Yeah.
Who's next though? Who's next after King Louie? Who would you want to? Say it on the podcast. We'll make a reel out of it, tag him too, but who do you want out of Chicago?
Out of Chicago?
Out of Chicago, and someone out of, not from Chicago.
Okay. Out of Chicago, I want to work with Saba. Like,
Saba.
I want to work with Saba. I got, I done work with Seasick. He got 2 joints on my project. Let me see, who else do I want to work with? I would love to work with Herb. You know what I'm saying?
Lil Durk.
Dirk, possibly. It just had to make sense. Like, but though Saba and Herb is 2 people I definitely been wanting to work with. Dirk, it just had to make sense. Like, you feel me? Like, cause we got, I ain't gonna say our styles is completely different, but like I would have to hear him on something, or possibly he would have to hear me on something. But I wouldn't be opposed to working with Dirk.
I can see you for some reason, just your vibe and just the way you move yourself and talk. J. Cole.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why. You remind me a lot like J. Cole.
Yeah, I would definitely love to work with Cole, bro. He's one of my biggest influences, him and Kendrick Lamar. So this generation specifically of the 2010s, this whole decade, like when Sosa came out, all that, I was heavily influenced. And that's what I was going to say. I would love to work with Cole. I would love to work with Kendrick, Burna Boy, I would love to work with, Damian Marley, you know what I'm saying? Solange is somebody I want to work with. Like, I love Solange music. You dig? Let me see who else. It's a lot of people, but those are the people I've been having in my mind, like, as of recently. I would love to work with Andre 3000, Erykah Badu, Mos Def, one of my favorite rappers, Lupe, like, I would say Ye, but like, I don't know, Ye creative vibe ain't just where I'm at right now. Like, maybe when I was younger, but like where he at now, probably when I was younger. But where I'm at now, nah, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more artists I could mention. But those are the artists that's on my mind, like, that I really want to work with, like, especially like, the Kendricks, the Coles, Burna Boy, Solange, like, them type of vibes is what I'm on. Like, that's what I want to get into more of, just blending in my island DNA with hip hop more, and that Afro fusion aspect of things. Like, that's what my music, like hip hop and Afro fusion, is where I'm taking my music.
Well, I have no doubt in my mind you won't get there. Why? Because you've been doing it for 10 years, dude. That's consistency. You're hungry. You can see it right now, too. I feel like AJ put a good word for you, man. He's been doing it for a long time. Let me ask you this. What is one of the hardest things you think you've seen, or you think is, to enter this music industry, to hit, to make connections? Because 10 years is a long time, and you've seen a lot, bro. What is the hardest thing you think, personally, you've had to go through to make this work, to keep you going?
Man, the hardest thing I went through as an artist was losing my little brother, Yuri Hardy, to gun violence. And him being murdered in 2016, like, I say 26 days after his birthday. That was crazy, so, that, going through something like that and trying to stay an artist and trying to stay positive and keep it going, that's something I real life had to fight through, But what was on the other side of that was like me going to Dallas and performing at a festival and dropping a project, and it still to this day people love this project, like, and say it's a classic, like, just, I wouldn't have achieved none of that if I let that situation bring me down and regress me back into a mindset that I was fighting to get out of. So that was the hardest thing I faced as an artist in the industry at the same time, because he was murdered and it was random. He was young. He was about to graduate high school. It was just a lot, it rocked my family. But a lot of beautiful things was on the other side, and they still coming from that. So that's the hardest thing. I'm like, and now that I done got through that,
do you think
I could get through anything.
Another personal question, do you think that's why you stopped doing drill and switch your kind of your rhythm up?
Yeah, definitely. Like, before that, it was a thing, and I still was messing around, like, even then, but I was just blending sounds and, having fun, trying different things out at the time when I was young because of what my dad was telling me. But when my little brother was murdered, I definitely was like, yeah, the music gotta reflect what I want to bring out of the reality right now. So it just really became all that, like, unapologetically, I don't want to use the word conscious, but or woke or nothing like that. It was just a very aware, very, real, very, to the ground, to the earth, to the roots, of what hip hop is, and that's a genre that is not just about controversy. It's about revolution. It's about, evolution. It's about, shifting the consciousness, shifting the collective with, with music and lyricism and, the gravity pull of everything that, people don't want you to see. Like, they don't talk about how big Public Enemy was in the 80s, and all them conscious groups that came out. Like, they say conscious music don't sell. That's not true. Because, the top 3 artists, 2 of those artists I consider conscious. So to say conscious music don't sell is a lie. It never was the truth. I feel like that's just what they want you to think. I strongly believe like music like that is always gonna shine through everything, because that's the music that people cry to. That's the music that people heal themselves to. That's the music, like, people have cried to my music in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So I know what real music does to people when it's made with that intention. So you feel me? I believe, we in a good space. Like, yeah, it's a lot going on. People worry about hip hop, and I didn't went through a lot. I went a lot of different ways of what I'm saying, but
No. Thank you for sharing, bro. That's personal. No. I'm a psych major, so I like to learn about people. I wanted to be a therapist, which is why I do this. But
that's dope.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why you ask questions you ask.
I like personal, I like to be vulnerable too. But let me ask you this then. Are you signed yet or no?
No.
Okay.
No deal.
How do you know when you're getting a good contract and how you're getting screwed over, right?
To me, you just gotta have a lawyer. Your lawyer read it over. You read it over. Cause when I've gotten the contract, I read it myself. I ain't understand they purposely put a lot of words you don't know in there. Like, cause I know a lot of words myself. Like, I'm very good at English. I was very good at English and linguistics. So it's not like I don't know the words.
100%.
I have a hard time reading. Like, it's none of that. It's really just they literally are purposely making sure that you don't know some of this terminology, because only a lawyer would know it, and you need a lawyer. Definitely, you could read between the lines and understand, okay, this is like bad, this is good, this is woo, but you definitely need a lawyer. That would be my best advice to any artist, like, and that's how you know, because your lawyer be able to tell you, like, this contract, because I had a lawyer, when I got my first contract, I had a lawyer read it, I had my mentor read it, who I was telling y'all about, who been in the industry, and they was both like, this contract ain't even really that bad, because this person, I could tell, is probably new to music industry business, because he giving himself a smaller percentage than what most people do. That's what they told me at the time. So I actually walked into kind of more of a blessing. Me and that person ain't end up working together, which was fine. It was all divine. It was just a lesson learned. But you feel me? I had my ducks in order at the time to even be able to send it to a lawyer, send it to somebody who know, and get a response like that was dope. So that's my advice. Don't do it yourself. You need other people. You need a team, and a team not always like a bunch of people. Like, people be thinking like, oh, we gotta be like Future. We gotta be like Pro Era. We gotta be like ASAP Mob. Like, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
The TDEs, the ASAP. Like, that was a dope era, right? But and it could work like that too. But it's also about, like, you feel me? If you don't have that, you do need a booking agent. You need this is stuff I've been learning. This stuff I want to get for myself, like a booking agent. You need a lawyer. You need a manager. You need, just certain things, or you need a therapist. You know what I'm saying? You need certain things in order so you could be together. Because this is a game that would try to steal your soul and drive you insane and take you to every low crack and crevice of what we consider life, and you don't want that. And we see what's going on. We ain't got to speak on the hot topics, but we see what's going on. And like I told my homie early on the phone, I believe that we at the cusp of a shift in creativity and music business right now. And that's why we're going through this purge where everything like just coming to pass, and all these different people been coming out over years as bad people or whatever you want to call it, whatever. But on that tail end of that is our business as a genre. And, like Vince Staples told Joe Budden them on his podcast recently, they wasn't trying to hear him, but Vince Staples told them, like, yo, bro, Y'all sitting up here talk about rap beefs, and people still getting fucked out their contracts, getting pennies on the dollar for publishing because they don't consider hip hop an actual music genre or lyrics and hip hop songwriting or beats to be music at all. So and when I found that out, I'm like, damn, this is something that's been going on. Like, that's crazy. Never knew that. I always thought we was considered a genre, like, but nah, they love hip hop because they could finesse it, and we got to take our culture back as black and brown people in this country and let them know, like, nah, bro, this is how it's supposed to be done. And I feel like that's where we going. And everybody next to you right now is the people you supposed to be around, because we gonna be the ones that shift it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm seeing. Like, I don't really care about if hip hop got a number one. I care about is if are we eating, Are we able to feed our family? Like, and that's why I love cats like Vince Staples, and that's somebody I didn't mention. I want to work with him too. I love cats like him because they real, like, forget all that other stuff like the gimmicks and the, who dissing who and, the chains and he always been very thorough, very real,
He put Chicago on, right?
Vince Staples?
Yeah. I'm not really familiar.
Vince Staples from LA, man. He from Long Beach.
Okay.
He from the Odd Future camp, So he just always has a very strong opinion. People love him for his comedy, but he be saying a lot of truth.
Okay.
I feel like if you pay attention to him, you understand, like, where he coming from. And when I seen that interview just recently, and they was talking about the hot topics, and he came through like, nah, bro, we need to think about this. I was like, man, he see what I'm seeing. And that's what we need as artists. We need people to be real. Like, nah, bro, it's 2024 and artists still getting fucked out. They publishing and they in 360 deals, and they still, to this day right now, hip hop still being finessed by people who don't care about our culture staying number one at all. They just want to make money off it and juice it. So, forget if a rap beef is happening. We need to legitimize ourselves and do business better. And I feel like this is the generation that's going to usher that in for the next 50 years. So the music and the artists of the next 50 years can have something sustainable for themselves, So,
well, Mani, man, I'm going to wind this down a bit because you shared a lot, man. But let me ask you this. One of the last questions I'm going to ask you this, just to tone down the thing.
Okay.
P. Diddy comes in the room right now, offers you $100 million to party with him. You going to do it or not, man? You got to be honest, man. No BS. No BS, AJ.
100 mil, hell no.
100 mil.
Tell his ass no. No, I would never party. I don't care how much you give me, bro.
God damn.
Diddy is somebody I always knew I wouldn't want to be around. So definitely, no, bro. That just real. I don't care about money. I care about character. Like, what type of person are you? How you exude yourself to people, like, and that's been becoming more and more prevalent in my life as the years go by. The older I get, the more I mature. That's more valuable than anything.
It's not even about the money anymore.
Nah,
man. It's about changing lives.
Exactly. It's about
money
impact.
will come. Money
exactly.
will come if you're good at what
it's
you do.
It's about impact. Yeah. Exactly. It's about impact. That's the real value. And you see what his impact is. Yeah. So we, that's not the impact we want. We
messed up a lot of kids. but Mani, man, thank you for sharing your experience, man. And where can the boys reach you at, man? Where can they tap in, man?
Man, so you can find me everywhere at Mani Jurdan. That's ManiJurdan. ManiJurdan. I got a single with King Louie called Rasta, dropping May 19th on Malcolm X's birthday. That's done intentionally. It's gonna be lit. Got a music video coming out shortly after. Working on an album right now. Got a lot of beautiful things you're gonna roll out as the year progress. You dig? And we just gonna keep becoming our greatest version every day, always and forever. So shout out to you. Shout out to your ancestors, your family. Shout out to the creator. We lit. Infinite love, divine guidance, and protection, always and forever.
So again, guys, so In Your 20s podcast, go search us up at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, AJ2, Music to Our Ears, Music to My Ears blog, and we're here shooting it at Studio 424. So guys, I'm telling you, best studio here if you want to do content creation, entrepreneur, if you want to make your dreams into reality, tap in the studio. I'm telling you, you will. Guaranteed mentality will be here. So tap in, boys. Thank you. What's the minimum someone can spend here? Like if someone just came up and they're like, "Hey, I got 500 to spend," would you tell them to get out? Or?
I tell them what they want to spend it on. Figure out something that they want to spend around. But my minimum item is probably a couple grand, few grand.
Okay.